A baby is born, and one of the first things the baby does is cry. But why? Because the baby has suddenly entered a completely different world. For the first time, the baby begins breathing air from outside the womb. So why does a newborn cry? That first breath is one of the most important moments in a baby's life. The lungs begin filling with air for the first time. With every breath, the baby's body starts adapting to the outside world. And then comes that powerful cry. In fact, crying can be an important sign that the baby is breathing. The baby has just left a warm and protected environment. The air, light, and temperature outside are completely different. Sometimes the need for comfort and closeness can also make a baby cry. Sometimes a baby simply wakes up and starts crying, because crying is one of the baby's first ways of communicating. But what if a baby doesn't cry after birth? In that situation, doctors first check the baby's breathing. They also check the heartbeat and the baby's overall condition. If necessary, they gently stimulate the baby and help the baby begin breathing. Because crying is not the only thing that matters. Doctors also look at the baby's heartbeat, movements, and responses. They evaluate all of these signs together. So not crying by itself does not necessarily mean that something is wrong. As the baby grows, crying can begin to have different meanings. Sometimes the baby is uncomfortable. Sometimes the baby is hungry. And sometimes the baby simply wants to be close. In this way, crying becomes one of the baby's first forms of communication. But understanding every cry is not always easy. Parents begin observing their baby's needs. Over time, they learn to recognize what the baby may need in different situations. Because communication is not only about crying. Sometimes, even a tiny movement can be a form of communication. A baby cannot speak yet, but communication has already begun. A cry can get a parent's attention. The parent picks up the baby. The baby begins to calm down and eventually may fall peacefully asleep. Small hand movements can also be signals. Sometimes even turning the head can be a response. The little sounds a baby makes are also part of communication. Parents gradually learn to recognize these small signals, and without words, they begin to understand each other. And the baby's cry becomes a message once again. The parent picks up the baby and gently calms them. The baby relaxes and finds comfort again. Because a baby's communication with the world does not begin with words. A baby's first language is made of sounds, movements, and responses. Crying isn't always a bad sign. Maybe they need you. Goodbye until the next video.